What's up everyone, and welcome to today's second episode. So for today's episode, I got a request from one of my best friends, Carlos, who wanted me to do a paint job on his G&G Combat machine. Carlos had an issue where he originally had a bunch of Airsoft gear, but someone actually stole it. So he went out and bought a brand new G&G Combat machine, and since it's brand new, he wanted me to make it, more personal to him, so he wants me to paint it. So for today's video, we're going to go ahead and do a paint job on this G&G Combat machine. So I'm going to go ahead and show you it right here. So this is the G&G Combat machine. G&G Combat machines are very well known because they're like the starter go-to airsoft gun. And the reason is because G&Gs are very cheap, but they perform very well for the price that you pay. So G&Gs right out of the box shoot like around 325 FPS. If you're starting Airsoft or want to get into it, I highly recommend them. But for my buddy Carlos today, we're going to go ahead and we're going to paint this. I think he wants to do kind of like a grassland kind of paint job on it. So that's going to be pretty simple to do. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to do this paint job. Also, my buddy Carlos, he tends to be a goof when we play Airsoft. So I have some old footage I'm going to go through and show you guys. So this one's for you, Carlos.
This is why guys don't live long.
So we're shooting our feet.
I got that.
Can you guys hear me?
Unlimited respawns, finishing it out. Finish strong, kids.
Oh shit!
Oh, yo, camera.
Yeah, you hit?
I don't know.
Oh, sorry!
Can't shoot from spawn.
Let's get it!
It's bad.
Oh! Go!
Bobby!
Alright, so before we start painting it, I'm going to take off the parts that only I want to paint. Such things like the gearbox and the motor and all the internals, I'm going to take out, completely strip down this gun completely, and then select all the parts that I want painted, and I'll get them ready and set for priming. Alright, so I went ahead and took apart the gun, and these are the parts I will be painting. Everything else on this gun I will be keeping black, so I'm going to go ahead and get these ready for primer. Here I have all the parts I will be keeping black. A lot of them are just tiny little miscellaneous parts, but things like the stock and the grip and the buffer tube and the barrel, Carlos specifically wanted me to keep black, so we're going to go ahead and see what that looks like once we reassemble it after I finish painting the other pieces that I just showed you. Alright, so some things for this paint job that you will need will be some netting of any sort, just a thing of some string or yarn, whatever works, and then I'll show you what paint I'm using. Alright, so these are the paints I'll be using. So first off, I got a Krylon primer. It's an enamel. I got a Krylon flat black. Flat black Krylon is really good stuff. It doesn't leave stick or anything. It's really nice. I got Rust-Oleum brown, Rust-Oleum olive drab, and then Rust-Oleum tan. So let's get painting. Alright, welcome to my garage. So ignore this big red car behind me. The main focus is Carlos's gun. So we're going to go ahead and start painting Carlos's gun. I have a box set up here, so I'll go ahead and show you guys that. Alright, so what we first got to do is we got to start off on a primer. So we have our three pieces here, top receiver, hand guard, and the lower receiver. We need to prime these, and for primer I'm going to use a Krylon gray, flat gray. So I jumped ahead a little bit. I got all three pieces in gray primer. It is very cold out, so I actually have a heater here to help the paint dry a little bit, just because it's about 40 degrees in my garage, so it should help the paint dry a little bit. Normally you're not supposed to paint under like 65 degrees. Alright, and time to move on to the tan. Now we just gotta wait for it to dry. Next thing we're gonna do is start with the green paint. This is where the fun begins. This is our yarn that we have here, or our string. So here's a technique that I learned myself for doing this grassland style camo. We're gonna take one of our pieces and we're gonna take the string and we're gonna wrap it around this piece a couple times, maybe a few times. We're just gonna keep doing that. Like so. And then your pieces should look like this. Once you do that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to use our olive drab paint. And we're going to go ahead and lightly brush it onto the pieces that we have there. And you should have this end result with these very fine lines you can see. Now on to step 3. This involves fishnet and our brown paint that we're using, Rust-Oleum brown. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this fishnet, we're going to wrap a piece in it, just like so, and then we're going to lightly spray over the piece. And that's going to leave this really cool effect. And once you're done, your end result should look like this. And for our final step, we're going to take these pieces that we have, we're going to wrap them in string again, and then this is where we got to be really tricky with our black spray paint. Because now we just got to do a light dust coat over it. And once you're done, we can go ahead and take this string off. Alright, we're going to do that with the rest of the pieces, and then we're going to go ahead and bring it inside to let it dry. Alright, so we're back from the garage, and here's our pieces. They turned out pretty nice. So we let them sit for a day. Alright, so we're going to go on to another step, just to finish them up before we assemble the rest of the gun back together. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take a little bit of some very fine sandpaper. So we're going to go ahead and take these pieces and rough them up a little bit. We're going to make them look a little war-torn, battle-damaged, kind of sand them up. And once you finish sanding, your part should look kind of like this. Kind of war-torn, you got these, marks on them, damaged up. Same with the top receiver. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take these and we're going to take a piece of paper towel and we're going to buff the paint until it's shiny. And once we get our parts all buffed up and set, we can go ahead and start putting the gun back together. So I'll show you guys what it looks like once it's finished. So I'll be right back. Alright, so we got the gun back together. Well, now it's time to show you what it looks like. So I went ahead and put a few attachments on it just to doll it up a little bit. But Carlos, this one's for you. So here is your brand new M4. I went ahead and put an EOTech on it with a tactical foregrip. Left the sights black, and everything else that you wanted black, I left black. But I think it looks pretty nice.